More than 2.5 million Muslims have gathered in the holy city of Mecca to mark what the Saudi government has called the largest Hajj in history. But global inflation has dramatically increased the cost of airfare, transportation, food, and accommodation. It also coincides with economic challenges in Muslim-majority countries, making it more of a strain to carry out Islam's spiritual trip of a lifetime. In Egypt, one of the cheapest Hajj packages jumped 20% from a year ago to around $5,650. And in the Egyptian pound terms, prices have nearly doubled this year, as the currency has lost 40% of its value against the Saudi riyal since the last pilgrimage.
Even if I had to sell everything to come, I would have done it. If I didn't own anything and I could come, I would have come. I've been trying for 3 years already, and it doesn't happen every time. So the first time I got it, even if I paid everything I own, I would do it just to be able to come.
Pakistan, another country affected by inflation and a currency devaluation, also struggled to reach its Hajj quota this year. The government had to return 7,000 unused Hajj slots to Saudi Arabia, despite efforts to encourage participation, including a program that allowed Pakistanis abroad to sponsor a pilgrim at home.
When you compare it with the dollar, last year the dollar price was less, and by comparison now the dollar rate, when we convert it to the rupees, it is much more higher than the last year. It is almost double.
But Saudi Arabia held downsized Hajj in the last 3 years due to restrictions imposed to contain the COVID-19 outbreak, leaving millions of people around the world eager to go on Hajj. So those spots were quickly filled by other Muslim countries like Malaysia and Indonesia, where wait times to go on Hajj can extend for more than a decade.
Thank God, these are the best days of my life. My dream, which I have been waiting for, came true, which is to perform Hajj.
And people say the significance of this once-in-a-lifetime duty will continue to drive them to Islam's holiest site, even if they must make sacrifices and face economic difficulties. Malik Fuda, TRT World.
Let's get more on this now from Leila Hatoum. She's a business analyst covering the Middle East and North Africa region, and she joins us now from Beirut. Thanks so much for joining us, Leila. As we heard in the story there, countries like Egypt and Pakistan, pilgrims from those countries are finding it increasingly difficult to attend Hajj, essentially because their own currencies aren't worth as much. Tell us more about why that is.
Well, as everybody knows, inflation has hit across the world, not only these two countries. But these two countries also have a particular situation where their currency has devaluated. So what happened is that the purchasing power of the currency is not as strong as it used to be. People's salaries cannot afford what they used to be able to afford 2 years or 3 years ago. So with Hajj items needed, for example, you need lodging, you need food, you need air tickets, you need other things. So in total, we're talking about $1,500 to $2,000 for the normal pilgrim to go from Egypt or from Pakistan to Saudi Arabia to do pilgrimage. This is now basically a sum of money that they cannot afford. Because their currencies have devalued, they don't have the same purchasing power as I had said. So the idea is that they are looking for means to go to Hajj. They are still adamant at going to Hajj. So some of them are taking loans, as we have seen in the past. And some of them basically are looking for charities to support their travel. But as you see, not everybody are able to go to Hajj. We saw the quota numbers basically for Egypt going down by half, nearly half, according to some officials who were quoted by the Egyptian media. And at the same time, there were not the amount of pilgrims coming from Pakistan towards Saudi Arabia also has dropped.
That's right, and Pakistan also returned some of their Hajj pilgrimage quotas as well. Can we look a little deeper into the Pakistan situation? We mentioned earlier in the show that the country has just clinched a $3 billion bailout with the International Monetary Fund. Of course, that still needs to be approved by the IMF's board. But will that go some way in terms of helping Pakistan's economy recover?
I highly doubt it. I mean, it's still a standby agreement. We're waiting for the IMF board, executive board, first of all, to approve it. They have basically 9 months to go through with the deal. But then again, if you look at the amount, it's only $3 billion. Pakistan's GDP is about $370 billion. So $3 billion is not going to add anything to that economy. It's just like a morphine shot. They will get high for only like few weeks or even a month or so, but it's going to evaporate quickly, mainly because there are several factors. One of them is corruption. They need to introduce reforms into their system. They need to support their industry. They need to support the private and public sector partnerships. They need to improve their legal system as well to encourage investors to go into Pakistan as well. So $3 billion will go in and it will disappear. It will not do anything.